feel, take it slow. I'll be in the right before the fades from your eyes. Just another conflicted placement. I'm stuck in a place I hated. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do when I'm stuck inside you? This cell of ice and fire, what blood red death, lost in desire, smell of life.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back once again. The Whole Damn Enchilada Podcast. Rick Paulton, Ryan Inman.
You'll get it
right there, Tom. I'm never going to get that right.
You'll get it one of these weeks.
One of these days, I'll get lucky. That's something you can bet on. Speaking of bets, whether or not I'll point to the right fucking direction.
I don't like the odds, but
It's probably not. I wouldn't bet on it. That's for sure. Because while I'm like 87 and 0 and 87 on that. Michigan Jason in the house, Jared Haggerty in the house, Halloween H2, Halloween Haunts 365, and Horror Shed. I just fucked all that up.
Yeah,
the Horror Shed podcast. Yes,
he said a Halloween H2O. I'm expecting Josh Hartnett to.
I don't fucking know. Yeah, Halloween Haunts 365. Who he just put up the review for when I went to Nightmare Cleveland the other day.
Yeah,
and those of you that are from Cleveland should definitely check that out. It is fucking awesome. One of the coolest haunted houses I've ever seen. Ryan wasn't able to attend because
I was
difficulties with their website.
Yeah, I was able to, but I guess they didn't want me to.
So, but yeah, no, I went, and we'll start talking about that real quick. Get that out of the way from the top.
All right.
St. John's, Michigan, get it right or I'm coming for you. Okay. Did I fuck that up too? I must have had to listen to the tape. I'm on a roll. Oh man. So anywho, Nightmare Cleveland, we had Rick Thomas on the show a couple weeks ago and went and checked that out, reviewed it for Halloween Haunts 365 for Jared Haggerty, and fucking amazing. It's like walking through like. You seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Like the lab scenes in Stranger Things. That's what the whole deal is. It's like this lab where these crazy experiments go wrong, and they're like biochemical experiments where plants and shit are growing out of people and just fucking nuts. And I don't want to give away too much because people might want to see it, but it's like it's fucking awesome. It's not like I wasn't scared at all. It was like not a scary haunted house. It was like walking through a movie and there's like a big story to the whole thing. Like normally you go to a haunted house, you got like your doll room and your clown room and like all of your normal haunted house tropes, you know. But this was like from start to finish, it was like a story. Like the way you described it, like being in disaster transport, you know, how the line was a thing, and it was really cool. I just recommend everybody check that out. It's on I don't know the exact address, but Brook Park 7198, so give or take.
It's the old Value City Furniture building.
Well, Value City Furniture is still there.
Oh,
but yes, it's that building.
It's their old building, which
is they use half the building, and the other half of the building where Be a Sweetie's Candy was.
Okay.
But that's the same building, the Value City Furniture. You're right about that. But yeah, everybody should go check that out. What else? Oh, so like I started off saying I'm 0-87 on figuring out which way to point to you, and you are now what 4-0 on Thursday night games? Is it
3-0?
3-0 because this is week 4 starting.
Correct.
Right on. So who you liking tonight?
Tonight we have the Detroit Football Lions at the Green Bay Football Packers.
Right on.
And
you guys, you know, gambling's legal all over the country. You guys would probably do good to listen to this guy and maybe place a bet down on what he says. He's on a hot streak.
Not only did the last time, well, our show started later last week, so you get to pick in on the show.
Yeah.
But I put online, I had everybody had the 49ers last week though to cover. Not only, though, remember the week before, not only did I pick Philly to win and cover, I also said Devonta Smith would have the biggest game, and the man only had 150 yards and a touchdown in that game.
There you go. So who do you like in tonight?
Tonight, I like the same team I liked in week 1 that no one else did when they upset the Kansas City Chiefs.
You did call it.
I'm going for the Detroit Football Lions again to win on the road in Green Bay.
And St. John's, Michigan, Jason, he says Green Bay.
No.
What's the line on that?
I think Detroit's given 2.
Detroit's given 2?
Yeah. It's close. It's like a 2-point spread.
Is it in Green Bay or is it in Detroit?
It's at Green Bay.
Okay, that's why they're.
If that was in Detroit, they'd be given about 6, I'd say.
So Detroit is favored?
Detroit is favored by 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, given 2. I don't know all this gambling lingo. I fuck it up all the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The points? Who's given the points? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Detroit -2. So I'm pretty sure.
On.
Either way, I mean, when the spread is that close, just bet the money line.
Yeah.
In this game, everybody loves Amon-Ra St. Brown, and so do I. But in this game, I like Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end for Detroit.
Right on.
I like Sam Laporta in this game. And I do, even though I'm not picking them to win, I like Luke Musgrave, the rookie tight end for Green Bay as well. I like both rookie tight ends tonight to score a touchdown.
Cool. So, yeah, try to fix that into your what was that? Is that a parlay?
Yeah.
Yeah, parlay. Yeah, I know my nephew does all this gambling shit, so I don't know.
Pretty good at it, too.
Yeah, he's decent at it. He wins some money sometimes.
Yeah, that makes both of us sometimes.
More than he loses, so that's always good.
I'm already doing better with football this year so far than I did with baseball, and that's surprising.
Yeah. Well, sometimes with the gambling, I think is if you know too much, it hurts you. You, my friend, know more about baseball than anybody I know.
I wish I could forget sometimes.
And that probably affects your betting. So did you see the news about the Halloween franchise?
No.
So what's his name? The guy that owns it. He's got an Arabic name.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah.
But that guy has been shopping the rights for a TV series to people. And rumor has it, I shared it on the page, that he's shopping rights to a TV series based on the Halloween 3 universe. So everybody was thinking that Michael was going to get a new show and bring him back because everybody was disappointed with Halloween Ends. And they thought they was going to get a redo, which they will eventually. But I'm excited because I'm a big fan of Halloween 3, and I kind of want to see where they would go with that.
Can't wait for that review.
Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. When we review the movie, I think it'll be cool if they do it like they intended to do with the series and just different shit every week. But it's allegedly it's supposed to be like an 8-part series. I mean, and this is the internet, so we don't know what's true, what's not true. People post whatever the fuck they want, and who the fuck knows. But yeah, I'm excited. Either way it turns out, I always like new shit. New old shit, recycled shit, because that's all we ever get. We don't get new stuff. Speaking of new and recycled shit, that is what our review is on tonight. Wes Craven's 1972 film, The Last House on the Left, and we are going to touch on the 2009. There you go, 2009. That's what I thought, but I wanted to be sure. 2009 remake.
The remake of the remake.
The remake of the remake, because 72 was a remake of, do you know?
The Virgin Spring, Ingmar Bergman, of course.
I was hoping you knew because I forgot. See, you said you wouldn't have too many notes, but you got the ones that matter.
I don't have. That's not. I actually have no notes. This is
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Tonight, I'm all shooting from the hip. But I'm very, very familiar with the film we're discussing tonight.
Right.
I'm pretty familiar with the Virgin Spring because I'm a huge Bergman fan. Not one of his best.
That was my next question. You seen that film?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna seek it out and try to get to it, but with working 70, 80 hours, it was hard enough watching both of these movies, and then I found a behind the scenes documentary that was on YouTube that really didn't teach me shit.
No. Now,
but it was kind of cool to watch.
I must reiterate, though, it is a very, very loose remake of the Virgin.
Oh yeah, of course.
So,
but yeah, they even said in there though that that's definitely where you got the idea.
Sure, the Virgin Spring takes place in like medieval times, though, and this is like very much hippie, late '60s, early '70s culture,
right?
Time. So
to me, it had a giant Charles Manson feel to it.
I can go with that, and it's only 3 years removed from those events. So
okay,
yeah.
Especially the music that was written by
David
the star of the movie, David Hess, or one of the stars,
David Hess,
Krug, one of the killers in the movie. And see, I got on my notes here. I got all the people from '72 and all the people, their counterparts from '09, and like little facts about them. David Hess, speaking of which, he was considered for Freddy Krueger. Did you know that?
I am so glad that he did not win that role.
Oh, of course, considering Robert. I mean, you can't picture anybody else in there.
Really, no chance. Jackie Earle Haley did his best, but no.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like at least Jackie Earle Haley was smart enough to not try to be Robert in the thing
because you just can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the movie came out in '72. It was written and directed by Wes Craven, produced by Sean Cunningham.
Yeah.
Of Friday the 13th fame, and the lead editor on the movie was Steve Miner.
Yeah. Director of parts 2 and 3.
Was it 2 and 3? Okay. And so without this movie, maybe we don't have Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
We definitely get Friday the 13th. Maybe not Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, well, 8 years later, who knows what could have happened? Maybe the movie bombs and nobody wants to trust someone or anything. So the movie was made with a very low budget. I don't remember. I wrote it down, I think. We'll just say not enough money. So anyway, back up though. So we're doing this movie. The reason we're doing this movie is because Ryan and I are doing a series of movies. Wes Craven, John Carpenter. He's doing John Carpenter movies. I'm doing Wes Craven movies. And the reason I picked the movies I picked was because I wanted to go back to the beginning with Wes Craven, show how he started. And then in the middle, we got the People Under the Stairs, which I probably should have picked like either a Scream movie or Nightmare on Elm Street 1, but I didn't want to do those because they've been talked to death. So I went with another one of his movies in his prime, which, in my opinion, People Under the Stairs.
It's a good pick.
And then at the end, in my opinion, his masterpiece is Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
I love it.
The reasoning behind taking the 3 that I took.
Yeah. 2 of the 3 films that you picked, I thought were fantastic choices.
Yeah.
The one not being a fantastic choice is the one we're talking about today.
Right on. And we'll get into why you think that, I'm sure. Because to be honest, I mean, it's hard to call it a great movie.
I'll second that.
I mean, it's very, and I want to try something different with the way I'm doing the reviews too. So I don't want to go through each scene of the movie, and then I want to like rate different things. Like I got music, cinematography, acting, and talking more about that and how I feel about that. And then I'll give the overall grade as we always do. And for me, like it's a very artistic movie in the way, in my opinion, the way he did things. And it's not a movie that you enjoy watching. You're a sick fucker if you enjoy watching this movie. Yeah, you got fucking issues. If you throw this on, like, oh, it's great, pop the popcorn, have the kids together. Like, I didn't watch this with my kids.
No, I would certainly hope not.
In the same token, the remake, I would.
Sure,
I would watch it with the kids. Not. It was just this movie was so intense and so real, and I really like the grittiness of the film. Like it's like I watched it in Blu-ray 4K on my TV, and it's not good quality. It looks like it's shot with really bad cameras, and
it probably was.
Oh, and it probably was. Yeah, you're right, because everybody was so poor. Let's see. Brian Ebenezer in the house. Did somebody say acting? Let me get my coffee cup. We got the handsome diner guy. Donald popped in. What's he saying? The movie made me feel how I felt watching Devil's Rejects as a kid. Fuck you. That's because that I told him that's like the only time I felt bad as a parent was watching Devil's Rejects with him and Eric. I was just like, oh God, this is bad. And it is in that vein. That movie was clearly, Rob Zombie was clearly inspired by movies like this.
And all the Texas Chainsaw
Chainsaw was probably inspired by this.
I don't think so.
A couple years later, could have been.
I don't
How
think
do you know? You know Toby Hooper? He told you
so.
so?
No, I don't know. That's why I said I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said no. And maybe it's not. Who knows? But Rob Zombie's definitely into crazy fucked up shit like this.
Talk about a tale of two films too, between this film we're talking about tonight and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I had completely different opinions of both of these films when I was young in my teenage years that I do now. I have done 180s on my opinions of both of them.
To be fair, a guy that's known you since your teenage years, you've done a 180 period. You're one of the people that have changed the most from, and you're supposed to grow as a person, but most people don't. And you definitely have. And you're definitely so much different than you were as a kid. Not that you were bad as a kid. It just, you've grown and changed. Well, I could see why your opinions would also change because your views on the world have changed.
Yeah, this guy fucking put me over. Come on.
I'm gonna go with you. Probably like these movies better as a kid. Is that what you're going with for?
I actually like Texas Chainsaw Massacre less as a kid.
Okay.
I like it a lot more now. This film tonight, I liked it a lot as a teenager.
Because I think possibly maybe the reason for that is just because of how fucked up the movie was. And, as kids, we were looking for fucked up shit. Like, come on, we watched Faces of Death and just crazy, like, shit that, it was cool to be bad, I guess.
Shocking. Shocked.
Yeah.
And, just...
I mean, Marilyn Manson was big and, and he just shock. Yeah, everything was about the shock value.
Real quick, not to get too far off track, and it's so kind of weird you bring up Marilyn Manson out of almost out of nowhere, but I did see him live.
Yeah,
on the Antichrist Superstar tour, and I'm not a huge fan of his music, but man, that was a good show.
Yeah, he does a good show.
And that was when he was at his peak, like 1997 or so.
Oh yeah, that was. I call that album his White Album.
Yeah, and dude, there were fucking protesters outside the venue.
Now, when I seen him, the protester thing had died.
Oh, they were there, man.
This is 2 or 3 albums after Antichrist, or Slayer opened for him.
Oh yeah, that's later. Yeah,
so it was 90s. Slayer toured with them a few years, I think, on the Antichrist tour. No, you didn't see. Okay, but they had a couple times.
He had Helmet.
Okay.
On this bill, which one of my favorites.
I remember this tour. I almost went to that, but I didn't.
And Rasputina.
Yeah. No, it's good shit.
I know Wintrick caught that gig in Cleveland. I was still living in Orlando at the time.
Okay.
And
I think those guys were all going, and I ended up not having money or who the hell knows.
And the reason I mention this is I went with one of my neighbors, cool chick named Renee. I'll name drop her. Mm-hmm. Her dad and I went together. He was a cool dude, man. I went to many concerts with her father because he was just really cool. And he just passed away a few days ago. Oh, so I was actually just thinking about that Marilyn Manson show because when I saw his obituary online, it brought up the memory, and then you just brought up Marilyn Manson. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So R.I.P. to Tino Mendez.
Right on. So Brian commented Cannibal Holocaust, and I don't know if he's talking about a movie or
That's a movie, yeah.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
So this is probably in the vein of what we were talking about, Faces of Death, crazy things like that. See, I've never seen that. Absolutely. So I might have to check that out. So again, the movie came out in 1972, and Rosa, what's up, Rosa? Hello. So the movie came out in 1972, and it was Wes Craven's first movie, and a lot of the guys involved in this were involved with porn before they did this. shocker.
Big fucking surprise.
After seeing the movie, it's really not. Because even the dad and the daughter had kind of a weird vibe going on to me, man.
Oh, can see her nipples as plain as day.
Yeah, it's like they were talking about her titties a little too much, and I don't know.
Hits. It sounds like I'm back in the barracks.
So the idea of the movie is you got this doctor and his wife and his daughter. It's her birthday, and for her birthday, she's meeting up with a friend that her parents don't like. That's a bad influence, and they're going to see Bloodlust. Was the name of the band?
That's true.
For a 1972 band, that sounds like what kind of that had to be hardcore punk, right?
I don't even think punk really hit yet, man.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I'm like, damn, what kind of a band do they got that, the metal wasn't a thing?
Yeah, it was. Black Sabbath was already around.
Yeah.
1970 was their first album.
Okay. So maybe some crazy local metal band. Who knows? But they're going to go see them. And we'll talk about who they are. Let's see. I got my actors here. Mary was played by Sandra Peabody in the original and by Sarah Paxton in the remake. And for little facts I got about her, her parents, she went to see the movie with her parents when it came out and was so disgusted by this movie that she walked out of the screening. That would be a running theme, I think, with a lot of these people. You got the Killers. You had Krug, Sadie, and Weasel / Francis, depending on which version of the movie you're talking about. And Fred Lincoln, who played Weasel, jumping ahead a little bit, was in porn. And he said that this movie was the most disgusting thing he ever did in his life.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy about this film to me is it's hard to watch. It makes it very uncomfortable.
I'm pretty sure he said it's the only thing he ever regrets making in his life.
I don't know. Maybe he said that. I didn't see that, but I did see it was the most disgusting thing he ever did. So, yeah, I'm sure he regrets it. Yeah. So, Phyllis, who is her friend, played by Lucy Grantham in the old one. Martha McIsaac in the new one, who was in Superbad, and her name was Paige in the new one. And you ever see Superbad?
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, she is stupid hot.
Which one was she in Superbad?
She was Becca.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't the hottest girl in there. The hottest girl in there was, in my opinion, was what's the guy's name? McLovin. The one McLovin was after.
Oh, the redhead chick.
And she's walking down the hallway, the booty everywhere. That was beautiful, beautiful thing. One of the greatest scenes in cinematic history.
I agree with you. That was the definitely the best looking girl in that movie.
And then
all due respect to Emma Stone.
Oh yeah. I did actually, as Donald says, he really enjoyed the Killer's performance. I enjoyed everyone's performance. And as I said, I'm going to break it down to the acting, the cinematography, and things, the music of the movie. And the actors in this movie, everybody was great, in my opinion. But the Killers you really believed them. I mean, they were very much succeeded at making me feel like they were really killers. And yeah, David Hess had problems. Like, he would walk to the subway, people would get the hell out of his way, like after the movie came out. And, just had that. He said that people treated him like he was Krug for pretty much forever after this movie.
Mm.
So, yeah. So, they're going to the city to see the concert. Meantime, they run into the kid who is Mark Scheffler. He plays Junior. And in other movie, this character is played by his name is Justin, played by Spencer Treat Clark, who was in The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the new one, and The Gladiator. And while we talked a little bit about Town That Dreaded Sundown before and how much I thought it sucked, the new one is really cool, man. I think you should see it. The other one's probably going to be a better film to you, but this is more of a horror movie than the other one was.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think you'll like it better, but I think you'll like it. I liked it a lot better because I just really didn't care for I just expected so much different things about it when I seen the sack and I was kind of picturing, like, everybody said that Friday the 13th 2 was ripped off from it. I expected more of that. and I didn't get that.
See, I think
I think that's why I didn't like it. If I went into it without that, I would have probably liked it.
If you went into it with no expectations, just ice cold, I think you would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's very well made for what it is, for sure.
Right on. So they go to buy some drugs from him. He goes back to their apartment. Oh, and earlier on in the movie, while they're on their way, they're hearing on the radio about these guys breaking out of jail.
Yeah.
Weasel and Krug. And that was cooler in the remake. They had Sadie wreck the car to get them out and shit. And I thought, did they actually show him getting broken out? And Garrett Dillahunt, who was on Fear the Walking Dead, he was also in No Country for Old Men, which I know.
Wendell, the deputy.
Yeah. And that's Sadie. Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad was Francis in the new one, which was Weasel in the old one.
Mm-hmm.
So we got David Hess, Mark Scheffler, Fred Lincoln as the old killers, and in the new one, Garrett Dillahunt, Spencer Treat Clark, Aaron Paul, and then Sadie, the female accomplice of the killers, who had a guy's name. In both actors had guys' names. I thought that was kind of interesting. Her name, Jeremy Rain, played her in the original, and Ricky Lindholm played her in the new one.
I love Ricky Lindholm.
Okay, what else do you know her from?
Garfunkel and Oates.
Yeah, okay, I know about that too, but I didn't think other people would, so I didn't bring it up.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's her and Kate Micucci.
Yep. Yeah. And she was also on Wednesday. She was the doctor, Dr. Kimbrough.
Haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen that? It's good shit.
Yeah, Ricky Lindholm's been in a lot of stuff. Kate has too, but that's another story. Big fan of both of those girls, though. I think they're both fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, I think the actors in the old one did a lot better than the actors in the new one. It's Donald says Emma Stone is the best looking one in Superbad. I disagree. I think she's third out of those three girls, but to each their own.
I'd put her at 2.
Yeah, I like Becca, and I like that. I like McLovin's chick, who I don't even know if she had a name. She was such a minor character.
Nicola was her name in the movie.
Okay, cool.
I remember that, and she had a one name. Her name was like one name.
Oh, like a little Madonna thing going.
Like Prince or Madonna, or yeah. And it's not coming to me right now, but I remember it was like she just had one name.
Right on. So after these girls, they go to buy these drugs, and
Aviva.
What's that?
Aviva.
What's Aviva? That's her name.
Aviva was her name. Aviva.
Okay, cool.
It just came to me.
So they go to buy the drugs, and Junior is strung out on heroin. He's all fucked up. And his dad keeps him strung out on heroin so he can control him, because that's what Krug is. Krug is a very controlling, manipulative, just evil person who reminded me of Charles Manson. And his music, because he did the score for the movie, and he did a couple original songs in it too. And his music reminded me of Charles Manson's music, if you've ever heard any of Charles Manson's music.
I've heard it.
Yeah. Not great music, but no. I imagine he thought so. So, yeah. So he's just a horrible guy, has his kid hooked on drugs. And so at this point, the girls are pretty much fucked. They know that they kidnap the girls. Bad shit happens. They rape the girls. The violence, crazy. Like, rape is one of the worst things. We've talked about it. Yeah. One of the worst things to see in a movie, and especially the way it was in this movie, because it was just so intense and just right there and like blatant, and like that part I liked in the new one better because it wasn't as rapey.
Graphic.
It wasn't as graphic. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, it wasn't as graphic. And I could have did without that, but that's obviously what Wes wanted that in there because he wanted you to feel everything that was going on here, and like to really get into it and feel what was happening. And I don't think I needed that. So they take the girls the next day. They're running away, and they end up in this field across the street from the girl's house, like literally right there. And that's terrifying, imagine putting yourself in her shoes, like knowing that freedom is just right there. If I could just get there. And she spends all that time trying to talk Junior into getting her there while, and then she makes, the choice to give her necklace. And that's how they end up spotting her later, is they see Junior wearing that necklace. Otherwise, they would have never known. And there's some real cool choices, like I think that Wes made doing that. And so again, that's weird. What was it? So like I said, it's just very intense. She's sitting there like 100, maybe 500 feet from her house, maybe a little further because they don't hear the gunshot. But
dog does.
Yeah, the dog does. Yeah, both dogs have better hearing. So the quintet of killers, they violently kill these girls after 2 days of absolute torture, or close to 2 days. And after they cleaned up, they stumble upon the Collingwood's residence, Mary's parents' house. And these people are just, our phone's down. Our daughter has a car. Just go ahead and crash here for the night. I mean, maybe that was a thing in the 70s, but I don't know, man. That was kind of fucked up, right? And so they come into the house and they're spending the night, and they're trying to be as hospitable as you can. They're feeding these people and taking care of them. And then that's, again, where the mom notices the necklace, and then she realizes that something happened and starts to go through their shit and finds their clothes all bloodied. And that's when she's putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4. And so at this point, this is where the movie kind of flips, and these people, again, in the newer one, I think they didn't necessarily have to kill him. And this one they kind of did, because there's no phone, no way to get out. These people probably would have killed them if they didn't, this killer be killed at this point, I think. So they set up booby traps all over the house, which is kind of like, who thinks of that at this time? That was kind of hokey, to be honest, right? But it reminded me of 84 on Nightmare on Elm Street, where Nancy was doing that for Freddy. the strings and Wes is just weird. So they go through and they're having their fight with these people. Let me see the parents' names. We got Richard Towers, who passed away in 2016. Didn't find really anything else he ever did. Tony Goldwyn in the newer one, and don't really know too much he ever did. And then Cynthia Carr and Monica Porter.
Monica Potter, Cleveland's own.
Really? No shit. I should know that. But she was Allison Gordon in Saw.
Monica Potter's been in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I recognize her face, but I just quickly through the IMDb didn't notice anything.
Yeah, she's from Cleveland.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Which Wes Craven also is. I
saw her at the casino 6 years ago.
Oh, right on. So she still lives local. Or
no. She was just visiting.
Right on.
I didn't talk to her, but a friend of mine was working for the casino in hospitality at that point, and he kind of told me what was going on. But yeah, that woman in person, roll tide.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, she definitely looks like one. Especially, she looks like one of those girls that in person would be even better.
Mm-hmm. And she's every bit of 50-something.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Still great.
Yeah.
So we all seen the movie. We know how it goes. And in the new movie, though, I had I thought the ending was stupid in the new one where they stick his head in the microwave.
Yeah.
Like it was so unnecessary. They rig up and I don't even think that would work that way. If the microwave not closed, I don't know. They blow up his head with a microwave. If it ended, before that scene even happened, it would have been a much better movie.
Isn't that how they were supposed to kill Jason in Friday the 13th Part 4? They were going to microwave him or something?
Oh, I didn't hear that. But
yeah, but then they're like, no.
Probably said that shit won't fucking work.
Yeah. If they, like, Friday the 13th had the logic not to do it,
Like the Microwave Massacre movie or whatever it was called. See, they didn't put the microwave killed him because of the microwaves fucking with his pacemaker. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Open door of the microwave blowing up your head, it's not going to work. And it was just so unnecessary because the movie was already so violent the way it was that you didn't need to take it to up here. It was already there. So, as I said, with the newer movie, I could see that being a more entertaining movie, but it's definitely not a better movie. Like, again, I would watch that one with my kids. I would never watch this old one with my kids.
I only watched the newer one once, so I don't really have a fresh perspective on it. It's been almost 15 years.
It's not bad. As far as remakes go, it's good. And it changed a lot from what the old one was in a positive way because they did their own spin on it and they took away a lot of the violence and a lot of the realism. And that's what made this movie so tough to watch is how real it was. And in my opinion, that's what makes it, again, not an enjoyable movie. You can't enjoy this movie. And if you do, you're a sick fucker.
Yeah, something wrong with you.
You can appreciate it. You can appreciate the things they were going for, in my opinion. And again, the music, top notch. Cinematography, I like a lot of the shit Wes Craven did, whether it was intentional or not. It might have been just a byproduct of I've got really cheap equipment, and then this is the way the movie's going to come out. And it's all grainy and old school looking. The acting, like a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it I would give it a 10 anyway. With the acting, because everybody in this movie, except the parents, except probably the dad. I think the dad was probably the worst at it. You didn't buy him the way you did everybody else, but everybody else was like spot on. Like they seemed so real,
especially
the villains,
especially in that opening scene. Just what a overly Jewish affect he had on his voice too. Like, he was just trying to play a stereotype.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as actors go, he was probably my least favorite. And the flip side, the dad in the other one was a lot better. And then we got the whole comedy element of the movie that a lot of people really hate on with the cops. And I like that. I like it because of the artistic perspective that Wes Craven was going for. That in the real world, people are just not really paying attention to shit. They don't know what's going on with shit. They're all like do-de-do-de-do. Everybody's all fucked up. And nobody really cares about what's really happening, and nobody sees what's really happening. I think that's what he was trying to get across. And I think it did come. To me, it came across that way. You want to say something, so go ahead.
I think he was just trying to fit minutes onto the reel because he didn't have a full movie.
You think I'm reading way too much into this?
Yes.
To be a feature, it has to be 120 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and this was 125. The cut one that made theaters anyway.
Yeah, because I know there was one film where they added 10 or 12 minutes of credits just to make it. It's a film we both have seen, we both like it. I can't remember what it is, but they had to add like 12 minutes of credits just to get it to be a feature film.
Last House on the Left. I'll say that I've never seen a film of any genre with as many different versions and running times as this one.
Well, because it was cut up 9,000 different ways.
Yeah.
See, he released it or he sent it to the MPAA, and they're like, "Yeah, this is an X movie," and it should have been. And so he cut a bunch of shit out, send it back, still an X. Cut a bunch of other shit out, send it back, still an X. And what he ended up doing was putting everything back in, and he had a friend that worked there that was able to secure an R rating for him.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, well, ridiculous. Like they were talking about the live chainsaw scene in the movie.
Yeah,
the live chainsaw thing where you could never get away with that shit today.
No.
Like
there's a million things. Even just
the union's a lot stronger now, and they would have not put up with most of that shit.
Just the torture scene in the woods, like that alone, is not going to hit theaters now.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Even if you don't physically show anything, it's still just the implication of it is just such a rough subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, you literally watched people like very in real life get raped and murdered. Like we're big horror fans. We watch Friday the 13th, and it's like a guy gets his throat sliced, it's over. Yeah. It's not this whole method to it where you see like the thinking behind the person that's doing it, and the whole from start to finish is like right there and blatant and in your face, and that's what makes this movie really hard to watch.
Yeah, I gave it a quick skim the other day, and
just to freshen your mind.
Yeah, I'd seen it so many times. It had been a long time though, for good reason. I once had a VHS dub that I acquired from someone you know.
Okay.
Way back 20-some years ago, and it was almost a 2-hour cut of this film.
Ooh. Yeah, I watched the unrated version, and it was longer than the one that I watched recently, but nowhere near that long.
It was that on steroids, man, and it was bad. Like it just, and the worst parts of the film are the ones that were padded with extra minutes added to it, like torture and things.
Yeah.
I was probably 22 when I acquired that tape.
Right on.
So we're saying over 20 years ago.
Yeah, this was like in modern movies, you got the Terrifier movies where there's crazy torture and it goes on like way too long sometimes, but that still doesn't like leave you with this dirty feeling like this movie does. And I think a lot of it has to do with the rape more than anything.
Yeah,
that's just a tough thing to watch in movies, especially for me, for sure. It's almost killing somebody is worse or not as bad as raping somebody to me.
I agree.
Yeah, because like you'll newer get over that.
No,
you'll live with that for the rest of your life, and it'll fuck your head up for the rest of your life. It'll fuck the heads up of everybody around you, and you've seen that in the newer movie when he notices when she lives, and he notices she's been raped and what that does to him. And as a father, I couldn't even imagine that. So like, not only is this affecting you for the rest of your life, and every thought of every day, but all the people around you. If you're married, your husband, your boyfriend, your father, your mother, the thoughts that they're going to have about you, and then your thoughts about how they're thinking about you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like, it's a real fucked up thing to deal with. So like, again, watching somebody get sliced open, cut from head to toe, all of this, sawed in half with a hacksaw, all that shit, much easier to see than this.
Sure. And I mean, again, I don't like rapey stuff at all. It's not my thing at all. But I will say this, not every film with something like that is necessarily bad.
Right.
Because and you already know I'm not going to grade this film highly.
Oh yeah.
You already know.
Spoiler alert, neither am I, but
oh wow. Oh
no, because again, I picked the movie because I want to show the journey of Wes Craven.
Yeah, well, if I knew that's what you were doing, I would have done mine a little differently too.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
and then I got another thing we're going to talk about at the end. After we do our 3, I'm going to try to pick we're going to do a really bad Wes Craven movie and a bad John Carpenter movie.
Well, we're doing a really bad Wes Craven movie right now.
Yeah, but it's a bad movie, but it's well done, man. For what he wanted, I mean, he did a good job filming the movie. Just whether or not I like the movie is not the same as how the movie was produced.
Because, like I said, before I even go down that road, I think I Spit on Your Grave is a good movie.
And I seen the remake, and I haven't seen the original, and I don't remember the remake.
Wow, really?
So we'll maybe do something similar to what we did today, but a more polished version, because we've done it before, where we talk about both of the movies at the same time.
See, that's got a pretty brutal scene in it too. That's pretty rapey.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but the way that that's done is a lot different than this. And it's hard to watch too for me, because anything like that for me is tough.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that's done and then what happens later, it makes it a lot easier to swallow.
Yeah.
So that,
right.
They took that subject matter and treated it, I don't want to say with more respect, because but it's I don't know.
Even though the parents they totally killed the whole people that did this to their daughters, it still doesn't make it okay.
It was just so dragged on too, and just just completely unnecessary, because there's no real story here. It's like, you want to smoke pot, so you're gonna get raped and killed, Well,
that kind of shit does happen.
It's just
you're in the wrong neighborhood, trusting the wrong fucking people. I've been in situations similar to this, and you're just sitting there like looking for a fucking way out, because it's about to go really wrong.
See, a lot of like horror gets into morality tales, and things like that. Mm-hmm. Like the people that go and have sex and go get drunk in horror movies, end up getting killed and whatever. Yeah, that's one thing. But this, like, and I completely disagree with anyone that says like the killers in this movie are like no, they're just fucking dirtbags.
Oh no, yeah, they're horrible. So what are you suggesting, that people say that
there's nothing scary about Krug at all? In reality, he's just a dirtbag. Like,
the scary part is that he is more real than Freddy Krueger and Jason. Like, I have met guys like this.
Yeah, and if a dude like
that
came up to one of us, we'd kick the shit out of him. Now, if Jason Voorhees came up to us, we'd be dead.
Yeah, well, this guy with guns, knives, and 3 or 4 of his friends, and you in the wrong place at the wrong time might not end good.
But he's still just a dirtbag, and he would never approach somebody like us anyway. So he's a fucking dirtbag preying on the weak people.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, I thought you were suggesting that somebody thought that he was like that there was any redeeming quality whatsoever about
No,
that.
Not a redeeming quality. I just read like a thing where it's just like top like villains, and no, this guy isn't the top.
No, for sure not.
It's a dirtbag.
See, Donald says this could happen to anyone at any time. The whole point is that doing literally nothing out of the ordinary can lead to something like this film. And absolutely. And what else did he say? Exactly. He in this situation is way more terrifying than a slasher who comes back to life a million times.
Well,
yes and no. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't get like it's scarier because it's real, but it's not something you want to put yourself through. So, as far as a movie.
So, what, in your opinion, then, what is the message? What's he trying to say with this?
Exactly what Donald just said.
Okay,
that's it. Like, just showing reality and how fucked up reality is.
So it's a morality tale,
I guess, or just I think it's just a big statement on society as a whole.
Or it's torture. It's torture porn for the sake of shock that turns into a revenge film in the last 20 minutes.
Well, there's that too.
That's pretty much what I'm going.
I don't think that was what his intention was. I think his intention was more to show a picture of what society is and can be.
I don't think he had a vision anywhere near that deep in the beginning of his run. I think there's no story here.
Right on. So again, I'm gonna grade it twice. I'm gonna grade it on how the movie was made and the way that again, using what they had to make the movie, that how great the actors were in the movie, how much I liked the shots of the movie, how the music went with everything everything went real well together and was really put together really well. And especially considering they're new to doing this, the budget, they're shooting the shit at Sean Cunningham's mom's house, all that considered, I would give them I'll give them a B to an A for all of that. Now, as far as the watchability of the movie, the entertainment value of the movie, do I like watching this movie? No, I'm gonna go with a C minus. That'd be my final grade. C minus.
You're an extremely
so close to a D.
You're an extremely generous man.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna go with a D. Fuck it. No, I'm gonna go with a D because, I don't need to ever see this again. I'm gonna go with a D, but it only gets a D because of everything I just said about why when I'm grading it from a filmmaker's perspective and what I think went into the movie. What I think, which obviously is not what you think, because you disagreed with almost all of what I said.
Well, if you would have asked me 20 years ago, again, my thoughts on this film, I would have.
I'm curious. What would those thoughts have been?
I enjoyed it at the time, but again, I didn't have the perspective on life that I do now.
Do you think you enjoyed it because it's something you weren't supposed to enjoy, and it kind of made you seem more edgy by liking it?
That's possible.
We all did shit like that.
That, and after I saw it the first time, I saw whatever was available on home video at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept hearing about this director's cut and this uncut, and then there's this 2-hour version, which I eventually was able to track down. I think it was more the rarity too of certain, just I have this thing that not a lot of people back then. Now you can probably find on the internet somewhere, but back then, man, it was almost next to impossible to find.
Back then, I would have been selling it in the suburbs for a lot of money, like I did NWA tapes.
Yeah,
because kids' parents would have never let them have this, and they would have wanted it because they can't have it.
So, I mean, I watched it. I don't know, man, maybe half a dozen times in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until my early 20s either. I didn't, I only really heard about it from other horror fans talking about it. I'm like, I never caught that one.
Yeah, I watched it a lot younger.
I don't know what I would have.
My parents. I don't think this was something I watched with them. And
no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They were good parents, don't get me wrong. But even they were, they would have probably felt bad watching this with me.
I don't think, as far as just this film goes, there was never an exact turning point. I think what you were expanding on what you were saying earlier, I think I, as a person, had a turning point in life at some point. Yeah. And then I hadn't given this film a second thought in years. And then when I went back and thought about it again, even before we were talking about this, I was just like, you know what, man? That was not a good movie.
No.
And, given it, I didn't rewatch every minute of it. I watched, I'd say, and I watched the original 85, 90-minute version. I probably watched 45 good minutes of it. I skimmed past some of the fat, the scenes with the Keystone fucking cops and all that.
Speaking of Keystone to cops, one
Martin
of them
Cove.
was Martin Cove. Yeah, John Kreese.
Sweep the leg. Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up. So.
Yeah, that's true. It's just so random. It's like, oh yeah, Cobra Kai right there. Yeah,
yeah, he was supposed to be Krug, but
again, good for him that he wasn't, because he probably would have never.
He probably would have been typecast. The guy never did anything else for a reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, one thing he did, I hated the music in this movie too.
Oh yeah. The guy had 2 top 100 hits in
it doesn't matter. Just these gratuitous scenes of violence and torture and rape, juxtaposed over this soft folky music. What the fuck kind of
Charles Manson, dude?
Yeah, but
the Charles Manson thing.
It just doesn't play well in film, though. It just no. And then that stupid
honestly, if I never knew who Charles Manson was and didn't know a damn thing about him, and this was a thing, then yeah, I would think like you're thinking. But because I do.
And then it shifts to these dumbass cops with this country bumpkin goof music.
Yeah, to show how stupid they are.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's almost like a cartoon. You know,
Most definitely.
this is like, again, for me, this is torture porn. This is just exploitation, and it turned into like, whatever revenge movie at the end, and it's an F.
It's an F.
It's an F.
No redeeming qualities whatsoever.
No, man. I don't think he had any vision here. Again, it was a very, very loose remake of The Virgin Spring, which is a good film.
Mm-hmm. I really wanted to watch that to have that in my head too.
Now,
I just didn't get time.
I'm glad though that he didn't give up, and he did. I think it was 5 years later he did Hills Have Eyes, and that was definitely a huge step up.
Was it that long after this?
I think it was about 5. I think it was 1977.
All right.
I'm pretty sure because it was like the same year Star Wars came out, I believe, and I don't know why I correlate those two things together because they have nothing to do.
See, and that was my toss-up was either The Hills Have Eyes or this one. I might have been better off with The Hills Have Eyes.
Really wish you would have done the other one. Because that's
when we talked about it, you said I got a lot of things to say about this movie, so I figured we'd have and I think we did. I think we had a better discussion about it.
That's probably true.
Hills Have Eyes would probably be just something we both kind of liked, and
because we got 4 more left, and we both love all 4 of them.
Yeah,
that's so. Yeah, this
we needed this in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think this is probably the worst movie Wes Craven ever made.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. It might be the most dislikable movie.
Yeah,
but I promise you, it's not the worst movie.
Oh, that 1981 Sharon Stone movie.
That one, and you know what? I've been talking about that with other horror fans, and a lot of people like that movie. So it might not. It might just be me. I don't think so. But no, that's not nowhere near his worst movie.
Swamp Thing's pretty bad too.
I love it.
I know you do. That see that I could see that being
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah,
that's the one. That's the one I think is the worst. And you had Eddie Murphy, and everything should have been cool.
I can see Swamp Thing being someone's guilty pleasure for sure. Yeah. Like I can see that. I can't see Last House on the Left.
You're also not a comic book fan either.
I'm not. So. But it's cool. I liked it as a kid because I saw that one as a kid. That's just like, isn't that movie PG?
That's the thing, and I found out. I told you about it when I seen it, and like it's PG. There's titties everywhere.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because back then, PG was like the equivalent of almost an R rating. Now you were allowed to show all this other stuff. I found that out that the scale changed.
Well, again, he got an R rating on Last House on the Left, and it never had any business getting that. So.
Oh no! Well, again, the reason he did is because of a friend of his.
Yeah,
I mean, he submitted, and that's why there's so many cuts of the movie.
It's not who you.
So many cuts of the movie and got turned down every time.
It's not who you are; it's who you know.
Right. I mean, come on, think about it. Like, in what world? What could he have cut from this to get a legitimate R?
The whole scene in the fucking woods.
All of that, and then probably some of the stuff that was going on at the house. I mean, the movie would be 25 minutes long.
Yeah, it's true. It'd just be a bunch of dumbass cops bumbling around.
Yeah, it's totally a comedy. It would have been a totally different movie.
Really weird, creepy exchange between father-daughter in the beginning.
That alone might have got an X, dude. What the hell, dude? That was just so weird to me. She's all sitting on his lap and shit, and what the fuck? Yeah, it's creepy as fuck.
Well, I'll just end my part of talking about that movie by saying I'm never going to watch this movie again.
I don't foresee myself doing it either.
No, there's no reason. No.
So, right on. So there's that. So it gets a D and an F. It's the lowest rated movie we've ever done.
Yeah. And rightfully so.
Again, if you had somebody on the other side of this this fence here singing its praises, I really love this movie. It's such a great movie. So you might have to question why you're friends with that person.
Some people call it a horror whatever classic. Yeah.
Well, it's groundbreaking, and it did inspire a lot of different things later. And like I said, you look at it from different perspectives. You look at it for the way they made the movie. You look at it for how it inspired other movies. But if you look at it for the sheer entertainment value of a movie, it ain't there.
No.
And anybody that says it is got fucking problems.
No.
These are people that probably like torture dogs and cats as kids and shit
No.
like that. If you like this movie,
The previous one and the next 4 we discussed between these 2 directors are all so good and all so rewatchable and so enjoyable on many levels that just this was like you right when you called it out too. I didn't say anything, and I've never ever talked to you about this movie till tonight.
No, we haven't discussed it even a little bit.
But I knew like this is the sore thumb for sure.
Alrighty then. So next week, or let's see, Saturday, me and the wife are going to Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse to review that for Jared, and just me and her. So we're gonna see if it's a different thing if we don't have the kids there. Because I think that they try to scare you less if you have kids, and just plus it'll give us some time to do something away. And then on Sunday, we are going to the first Cleveland convention I've ever been to, Cinema Wasteland, which our friends on the Spooky Horror Picture Show. I fucked that up again, didn't I? The Spooky Picture Show podcast.
Spooky Picture.
Kevin Ellis and those guys.
Yes.
They Michael Fleischer, he's I don't know if I told you, he's directing. Yeah, we talked about it. He's directing the documentary for Jason Goes to Hell. But they both have said that they were talking about it on there, going like, "Oh, Cinema Wasteland's a great convention." So yeah, so I'm kind of even more intrigued now. But I'm going to see Felissa Rose and get her autograph, get a picture with her, and tell her how my 8-year-old daughter picked apart her movie in 30 seconds. How disappointing that was. And Tom Savini's going to be there.
Yeah, I need his autograph.
What's that?
I need his autograph.
Yeah. So if you end up not wanting to go or can't go, I can pick up your poster for you. That's up to you.
Okay.
And try to get that taken care of for you.
I think it's at the Cleveland House too, which makes it even easier for you to get.
Oh yeah, if it's there, definitely. Fuck yeah, just run down the street. I can do that. Like I don't have to waste too much time at all. 3 minutes away. So that's what we'll be doing this weekend. And the next week on the show, what was your second movie? The Thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we could talk about The Thing next week.
We can. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. I got some other guests on the hook that we're not gonna talk about right now, that are in the early negotiation stages. If one of those pop off, we will do we'll do a pivot. We'll pivot to that if that happens between now and then, but probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If it does, we'll do that and then postpone The Thing for a week.
Right. No harm.
Yeah. If I end up watching it twice in 2 different weeks, that won't be a bad thing. I'm going to check out the 2011 one too, because it's on one of those streaming sites right now for free with the original. And I seen the old black and white one recently too, so I'm sure they'll all come up in the discussion some way or another. And also, Exorcist is in theaters on Sunday and Wednesday.
That's right.
So if I get time on Sunday, I'll hit you up and see if you have time and if you feel like doing that. But I don't know if I will have time because I need to work too. So, but I'd like to see that in the theater. I won't be able to do it Wednesday, so that sucks. Next week, on Friday, The Exorcist Believer, is that the name of it?
I think so.
Is coming out on the 6th. So I might see that Thursday night because they'll do a late night showing of that. Pretty intrigued about that. I mean, I don't know. I didn't hate the Halloween movies as much as everybody else. So I might like it. The David Gordon Green Halloween movies. Have you seen those?
The first one.
The first one's great. So
Yeah.
You're good. Just most people's opinion, skip the other two and your life will be better.
That's what I hear.
I was okay with the other two. But again, I like stuff a lot more than other people. But the consensus opinion, it's not even just like one or two people. It's the second and third movie is dog shit.
Yeah. And he's the one who made the new Exorcist, right?
He's the one that made the new Exorcist, so he's got a lot of people scared and not the good way. Not the way he intended. So, well, we're about an hour and 6 minutes. We're going to get out of here, and you can go. Rosa says, I'm so excited for Saw, and Saw comes out tomorrow, I think.
Really? I thought it wasn't coming till later.
No, it's tomorrow.
Wow.
or there might be a screening of it tonight.
Shit.
Actually, I had no money. I was going to say maybe I'll go see that real quick, so I don't have to do it later.
I want to catch that.
You want to catch that? So we'll do that. Obviously, the kids want to see it, or one of the kids want to see it, and the other kid will be dragged along to see it.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, tomorrow she says yes. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see The Exorcist. I think I want to see The Exorcist more than Saw, but I dig the Saw movies. The first one is a fucking amazing classic, top 20 greatest maybe horror movie ever. You know, it is that would be his masterpiece, James Wan's masterpiece, if you ask me.
Sure.
But so yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Let Ryan go gamble on some football games.
Yeah.
And Burst is the best. Yes, it absolutely is. So we'll see you guys next Thursday at 7, unless one of those guests come through and I have to change the time because one of them lives in California. So that's all I'll say about that.
Spoiler alert.
But we'll see how that goes. But anything else to add?
Go Detroit Lions, and there goes the neighborhood.